This is like ironic as fuck. It's like ironic. Can I turn my fat into muscle? That's the question. That's the question. That's today's question. And also, there are going to be answers for that today. All right. So, we're going to talk about it. Can I turn my fat into muscle? It's a question that I've been asked not too frequently anymore because I think I've answered this question too many times. And people are really starting to get like used to it. They got the answer now, they know the answer. But for those of you that don't know the answer, stick around, stay tuned. All right, and we're gonna dive deep today. Not really deep. We're gonna dive shallow because, again, as I said, a lot of people already know the answer to this. But I'm gonna explain to you why you think that, and also what it sort of means. Like, what could really, how you can change your perspective around it, so that this isn't as condescending. Because it might seem a little condescending when I like bring it up because I've already talked about it so much, and it's not because I'm insulting you or like think any less of you guys and girls. That's not the case. It's just simply because the answer is so simple, and I'm gonna get into it in like a couple of seconds, and then you're gonna be like, okay, well, I got my answer. I don't need to listen to the rest of the live stream, but you actually would benefit from listening to the rest of this simply because, guys and girls, it'll change your mind. It'll allow you to understand sort of where that mindset of fat turning into muscle comes from, and why you can like why you should at least stop thinking that way. All right, so let's talk about it. To answer the question very simply, not to waste your time, because I don't want to waste your time. All right, and I don't want to waste my time too, because I've already talked about this. To answer your question very simply, can I turn my fat into muscle? Can I turn fat into muscle in general? Hold on, let me just pin the conversation here on Instagram so that we know what we're talking about. Can I turn my fat into muscle? The very simple answer to that question: no. No. Just no. All right. So that's, and I'm not gonna, the answer is no. And the reason why it's no is because fat and muscle are two separate tissues. They're two different, forms of matter. They're two different things. They don't transform into one another. However, they do work alongside each other when it comes to, producing a result. There's the result being, losing fat, burning fat, dropping water. You definitely, absolutely can, if not must, use fat as an energy storage to build muscle. To burn fat, you must use it as energy. To use it as energy means that you're exerting energy. If you're exerting energy, you're likely doing something that is keeping you physically fit, whether it's cardio, whether it's weight training, whatever it is. Okay. So in this case specifically, we're going to be talking about both cardio and weight training because when they both work together, they do torch the most fat. And it looks like you're turning your fat into muscle, but it's not necessarily your fat turning into muscle. It's your fat being used as energy to help you build your muscle alongside carbohydrates, which we can talk about later on, right? But yes, the fat will leave as the muscle does pack on. Okay, the fat will leave as the muscle does pack on because you're using your fat, you're burning your fat in order to use it as an energy source to build muscle, right? So that's honestly one easy major misconception that I can see most people kind of struggling with. They're like, well, doesn't fat turn into muscles? No. You use your fat as an energy storage when you're doing your cardio, when you're lifting consistently, when you're eating, what you're supposed to be eating so your body can metabolize those fats and use them as energy storages, right? And then as they're being burned, while they're being burned, you are putting on muscle. The more muscle you put on, the closer your body is to an anabolic state. Anabolic state just means in a state where your body's burning more fat without you having to do much effort, like resting. Like, for example, me sitting here right now being lean, versus me sitting here being 20 pounds heavier with a little bit more fat and water, I'd be burning a lot more calories now as I'm leaner because I have more muscle on my physique, and muscle is calorically expensive, so it just burns calories for no fucking reason. It just requires more energy to keep onto your body. Energy being calories and fat in this state, right? So the closer you are to an anabolic state, the easier it is to keep fat off, right? But to get to an anabolic state, you have to use that fat as energy source. You have to burn that fat. Okay, and when you burn that fat, only when it's burned and when the muscle starts to surface do you actually get that effect of seeing your fat turn into muscle. And like, let's talk about really, really, really big people here. Like, when I say big, I'm talking about like obese. Like, think of like a big football player, for example. Really, really like just big, heavy, chunky, heavy set, whatever you want to call them. All right. And they're like 300 pounds. And then out of nowhere, they go all the way down to like 200 and say 20 pounds. Like they cut down 230 pounds. Like they, not out of nowhere. Like, of course, nobody just wakes up and loses 70 pounds. But let's say this person loses 70 pounds. Because they were so big, the amount of fat water to muscle ratio that they had, by the time they get down to 230, 270, whatever the weight is, they look just muscled out. They look like they've been working out for years, right? And that gives people the illusion of fat turning into muscle when in actuality, the muscle was there all along. They just got rid of the fat and water. They used the fat and water as an energy source to burn through to build and, if not retain, the muscle as they lost that fat. Because you use fat as an energy source, it burns like gas. Put it in your tank, it burns. Okay, so I want to just help you guys and girls visualize that transformation, that thing where you think it's like, oh, I saw someone's fat turn into muscle, like they used to be really fat and now they have muscle. Like, no, the muscle was always there. They got rid of the fat and water, and the muscle was revealed now. Now that the muscle is revealed and that they're closer to an anabolic state just means that they have a lot more muscle than fat and water. It's easier for the fat to stay off. So long story short, Bianca says no. Like, yeah, pretty much. So one thing I actually want to do bring up to you guys and girls, which is still interesting to me, is the fact that, in a sense, although fat cannot turn into muscle, in a way, because you're using the fat to burn, like you're using that energy, because you're using that energy to build muscle, in a sense, you are using fat to get more muscle. It doesn't turn into it, but you're utilizing that fat storage as an energy source to build muscle, right? So, like, let's break it down and just keep it real simple. And there's another question that comes with this. Let's just break it down. There's another question. The question is, Matt, is it possible? Is it possible to burn fat? Is it possible to burn fat and build muscle at the same exact time? That it almost sounds like a trick question. You know what I'm saying? Is it possible to burn fat and build muscle at the same time? And I want you guys and girls to let me know what you think the answer is. Type it down. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, if you think you know the answer to that, type it down real quick before I give you the answer. Is it possible, guys and girls, to burn fat and build muscle at the same time? Do you have to cut and bulk, or is it possible to burn fat and build muscle at the exact same time? Let me know. I won't even tell y'all until y'all start giving me some answers over here. I want to see some answers, and then we're going to talk about it. Is it possible? Let me know. Bianca says yes. Impact bodybuilding. Maru, I want your answers. Is it possible? Is it possible to burn fat and build muscle at the same time? Jakey, what's good? Mike, I want you to answer. I don't want any sitting ducks here. I want some answers, and I'm not going to humiliate you. I just want to open up your mind and allow you to understand something if you are understanding it correctly or if you're misunderstanding it. Mike says, yes, it's possible. Depends on your state of lifting. Okay. I like that answer. Anybody else here? I can see there's only 6 people in this Instagram live stream here. Throw me an answer. Don't be a sitting duck. Jassy is here. Jakey says, yeah, it's possible. Morrow says, yeah, it's possible. So you guys aren't dumbasses. I like it. I'm just fucking with you. Even if you thought otherwise, you're not a dumbass. Yes, it is possible to build muscle and burn fat at the exact same time. As a matter of fact, it already does happen. Unknown Scorpion says, from what I was taught, no. Again, it's from what you were taught. I'm not here to like ridicule you or say you don't know anything or whatever. Like, no. Like, I'm here to teach and help, right? So I like the fact that you actually stood up and said that. Unknown Tatted Scorpion 86, because you got balls, and most people are just sitting there not fucking saying anything because they're afraid. And I'm not going to humiliate you guys. So the thing is this, guys and girls, in order to burn fat, we're aware that you must burn calories. How do we burn calories? We exercise in the gym. Okay, we do cardio. We lift weights consistently. 90% of the game is your nutrition, but how do we burn calories aside from our nutrition? We exert energy, and typically the energy that we exert is regarded like it's related to weightlifting. It's related to cardio. And weightlifting and cardio, if you pair them up together, have the ability to grow muscle on your physique. Okay. So technically, it's inevitable that you grow muscle as you burn fat. It's like this is your fat and this is your muscle. As you're burning your fat, because you're going to the gym, you're increasing your muscle slowly. Of course, you burn more fat than you increase your muscle, but they do meet in the middle at one point when you're actually lean and content and you're satisfied with your body, right? But how do we sort of get to that sort of stage where it's like your body's automatically doing that? The number one thing that I'd recommend is something that I heard about recently. I started doing it maybe about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago. Main gaining. So eating slightly less than the required amount of calories that you would need in order to maintain your weight. So for everybody, they've got three sort of caloric gauges. A caloric gauge to gain weight, maintain their weight, or lose their weight. Surplus, maintenance, deficit. Surplus is to gain, maintenance is to maintain, deficit is to cut, to drop, to lose weight. What I find is that nowadays most people just honestly try to just go into a deficit because they want to lose the most fat and water as possible. And we call that like an aggressive cut or a cut. And the thing is now when they do their cut, they're typically starving themselves. It's not as sustainable. They feel hungrier. They give into cravings more often because it's just not sustainable. Like they're going far under their required amount of maintenance calories, far less, and it's keeping them far more hungry, right? Which mentally is a hard battle to fight, especially if you're coming from being heavy, right? So what I found works best for me and my clients is keeping the caloric intake maybe 100 to 250 at most calories under what is required for your specific body to maintain its weight. Again, it varies for every single human being, right? So once you do that and you continue to train, see, you're in a slight deficit from maintenance, so your body is going to be burning weight. However, you won't be as hungry because it's only a slight deficit. And then if you're focusing on your macronutrients like your protein, your carbs, so on and so forth, your fats, you have the ability to optimize and leverage the amount of muscle that you put on your physique. Again, nutrition is key here. All right. So that's one thing I want you guys to settle with. All right. And that's it. That's all. That's the information that I'm going to bring for you to you today through a sort of obvious question of can I turn my muscle into fat? Or can I turn my fat into muscle? I don't know who would want to turn their muscle into fat. Fuck that. I'm going to read some of the comments here on TikTok and on Instagram, and then I'm going to dip out and hit the gym. All right. So first things first, I want to let you guys and girls know that I appreciate each and every single one of you who joined all the live stream on any of the platforms and that continues to join on any of the platforms. You know what's good. Mike says I need to do some cardio. He says Mike also asks, what about in terms of body recomposition? Does the same principle apply? Yes, it does apply. That is actually body composition. So Jakey was good. Benny, what's up? Painkiller says I will turn orange if I replace water with orange juice. Help. Will I turn? You're a troll for that. You're funny. No, you'll turn green. Funny, bro. I'll be having a sick day, bro. Impact Bodybuilding says you got pressed by Smugs and Randy at Good Life on Bouvard. I didn't even train. Is there even a Good Life on Bouvard? I don't know, bro. But that sounds kind of funny. Smugs and Randy at Good. You're gonna have to DM me, bro. I'm drawing a blank here, bro. But I appreciate you showing up. Much love, dog. Bianca, it's good. Mike says yes, it's possible. Earlier on, so fat, or if you're a fat person, yes, years later on, someone that uses PEDs. So, it's no, you don't need to use PEDs to burn fat and build muscle at the same time. You just need to be in a slight, ever so slight caloric deficit, and be training consistently, and it's possible. You don't need PEDs for it, and I'm an example for it. I don't take any PEDs, and I do that right now, right? So that's why I pretty much stay lean as I grow. Because I'm always like focusing on burning fat and building muscle at the same time. And I'm never doing like an aggressive cut, an aggressive bulk. And with the caveat of an aggressive cut being getting ready for a show to make weight, just different because I don't stay close to stage weight. That's like just not sustainable for me. Um, my boy Hardeep and Manji did it before. I believe they did. I don't know them, but it's possible. So I believe it too. Impact Bodybuilding. What's up? Hey, DJ Illinois was good. He says the answer to that question is yes. So you can burn muscle or you can burn fat and build muscle at the same time. Hell yeah. Homie says weightlifting. Weightlifting has a longer afterburn. I was also told. What's your opinion? So I don't know what you mean by that by afterburn. I really don't know what you're asking there, bro. But yeah, no, I'm not sure what you're asking there. Your question about afterburn. I don't know. You're gonna have to specify that for me to DMs, bruh. Akash, what's good? DJ says sauna is better route than starving yourself. I mean, anything is better than starving yourself, bro. Starving yourself isn't sustainable because no matter what, you're gonna smell pizza then fucking dive in because you're so damn hungry, right? It's like just not worth it. Mike says, Matt, what are your thoughts on a net caloric surplus? Say on rest days your calories are in a surplus and rest days they're below maintenance. How does this coincide with main gaining? So again, main gaining doesn't mean it's the calories that you're consuming each and every single day are the exact same. Because even for me, like macros and calories do vary depending on what muscle group I am training. Also depending on what muscle group. Excuse me, there. That's an alarm. Especially depending on how close I am to a competition if I am competing. So again, like if for example, leg days I do higher carbs. Back days I do a fair amount of carbs. Chest day I do the least because I don't need a lot of carbs on chest day. I blow up on chest day, right? And when it comes to those macros, carbs, proteins, and fats, which I do alter on any day that I'm training specifically, my calories will fluctuate, but not so much to the point where it interrupts my main gaining, we'll say, because again, it's only slight caloric increases or slight caloric decreases around the caloric intake that is required for me to slightly be in a deficit and continue to put on size. So my thoughts on a net caloric surplus, I wouldn't do it like unless I was rebounding from a show, and even so, it's going to be incrementally. And again, it's only when I'm competing, either getting ready for a show or leaving a show, would I say that I bulk or cut exclusively. But for the most part, I don't trail that onto the year where like in the year like I'm focusing on bulking until I have to focus on cutting an extreme amount of weight because nobody likes losing 40 pounds to get ready for their show. I keep it around, say 20, 25 pounds away from stage weight, 30 at most, right? So that's my take on that. Bianca says, how's your day going? My day's going amazing. I'm actually going to go crush the gym right after this. You know what's up. Homie says, Bovard and McLaughlin. Oh, yeah, well, Bovard and McLaughlin. Yeah, I don't train there, though. The good life you're talking about. DJ, what's good? Yeah, they still have that good life there. It's still there. I don't train there though. I might just train there randomly next week. How do I lift as a bodybuilder and a athlete hybrid? I don't understand what you mean by that because I don't know what other sport you're playing. But I'll tell you this personally, firsthand. I've never done that in my life. I've only ever done bodybuilding and not bodybuilding. Sorry, freestyle wrestling and football at the same time. Right, but they're both sports, in the sense of them being sports, and there's like a tactical sort of thing you have to do, objective, whatever. But I was never a bodybuilder and another athlete at the same time, so I actually wouldn't have the answer to your question there, bro. But the thing is this: depending on what you're doing, if it's a contact sport and you're trying to do bodybuilding, it's contradictory because you're technically like injuring yourself if you're doing a combat sport, and you know how it is in bodybuilding. If you lack symmetry, there's not much for you. But if it's like soccer or anything like that, again, how are you going to grow if you're burning damn calories running up and down the field? So many variables. It depends on what actual sport you're doing aside from bodybuilding. Basketball even, but then again, you probably be really tall and it'll take forever to fill out your frame. Depends on what other sports you're doing there. All right. Unknown Scorpion 86 says no problem. What's up, bro? I appreciate you, man. Sam B deadlifts was good. Mike says, interesting perspective, good insight. Fucking appreciate you. You're always asking like some bomb ass questions, Mike. I appreciate you, man, for real. I got a question here. Harmon, what's good? I see you. I got a question here. Oh no, so yeah, I already answered that question. But yeah, if you have any other questions, shoot them to me, my DMs. I'm gonna read some stuff here on TikTok if it's appropriate. Um, Adam, I appreciate the follow. Adam Sandler 69. It's funny. He says, "What do you think of high intensity 5 minute workouts? I think they're great. I think they're amazing, especially if you have no time. And they're extremely effective, especially when paired with a workout at the end of the workout, right? Just to burn extra amount of calories. I think it's fucking amazing." He says, also, have you heard of anabolic aliens? You're a troll. I like that question, and I'd like to believe that one day I will become an anabolic alien. Shout out to my boys at Alien Age. You know it's good. But yeah, yo, that's it. That's all. You know what it is. We'll be back again tomorrow with another live stream. Peace and love, my people. I'm gonna go hit the gym. I'm gonna go get fucking swole. I'm gonna get ready for this show. Rihanna, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, girl. All right, you know what it is, people. We are out. Hope y'all have a sick ass day. Later, Instagram. Later, TikTok. We out the cut. Facebook. We leaving. All right, yo. Take it easy. And then YouTube. We out. We out. We out.